You also should learn the law. Um, and this, Passman's book will be very helpful with this, but the two main laws that are going to impact you are going to be copyright law, which protects your original works of creativity, your music, trademark law, which is going to protect your identity, your name of your group, um, and it'll allow you to, create merchandise and have all of that stuff protected. Trademark, and people confuse trademark and copyright and patent all the time. Like I said, copyright is the area of law that protects original works of expression, original creative works of expression. Um, it could be music, could be literary, could be choreography, it could be film, it could be visual arts, could be uh, anything like that. Copyright protects all of it. Trademark protects commercial names, what they refer to as designations of source. If you've got a band, the name of the band is going to be subject to a trademark. The music is going to be subject to copyright. If the guitar player creates an effect, a foot pedal that you plug the guitar in and make your guitar sound like a rhinoceros, that would be subject to patent law, which covers inventions, mechanical, electrical, mechanical, chemical, etc. But it's a good idea to be aware of the law and if don't take it from another musician whether something is infringing or not. Oh, that's more than three notes. That's not where it's at. Learn it for yourself. Read the Passman book, and figure it out. There's probably more kind of urban tales about copyright than any other area of law. And I've heard, people, professional musicians, I've heard college professors like misstate what the law is. The law is a lot less certain than most people believe it to be. Um, Almost any question about copyright can be answered accurately with the answer, "It depends." Um, and that's why God made lawyers. So, um, getting to copyright. When do you want to register your copyright with the Copyright Office? And why do you want to do that? As a matter of law, you own the copyright to your creations as soon as they are in fixed form. As soon as you push, stop the record button on your recording. As soon as the pencil leaves the paper, you own the copyright to that. That surprises people, but that is true. Whether or not you want to enforce your copyright is up to you. A 2-year-old doing finger painting, once the 2-year-old is done finger painting, the 2-year-old owns the copyright to, his or her little masterpiece. It's kind of nuts because it means that everything that's created is subject to copyright law. It's somewhat controversial. It has only been that way since the late 70s, but it is what it is. Registering your work with the Copyright Office entitles you to benefits, like going to court to enforce your copyright. You can't go to court until you have the registration certificate from the Copyright Office. Back when the copyright laws were formed in the late 1700s, they wanted to incentivize people registering the copyright, and they wanted there's a mandatory deposit when you register your copyright. You have to deposit with them a copy of the work that you want to register. And the grand plan was, well, we're going to build this great museum of everything that's published in the United States. We're going to have this library. It's going to be the Library of Congress, and it's going to have everything that's ever been that has ever been published. And so it was this mandatory, for a while it was mandatory that you register, or you would lose your copyright altogether. And of course, as things went, there's no grand library anymore. You send your stuff to the the Copyright Office these days, and you usually do it digitally, so it ends up on a hard drive somewhere. If you actually send them the physical product, it's going to end up in a warehouse in Arlington somewhere, and just get lost. But there is still this requirement that you deposit. Another benefit of registering your copyright, if you are registered before there's an infringement, you are entitled to statutory damages, which can go up to $150,000 per infringed work, which is a lot of money. And the range is between like 2,000 and 150,000. And who chooses that? Well, a court does, a jury does, or a judge does. And you'll hit the 150,000 mark if you're dealing with really real piracy. If you really piss the court off, you could get the $150,000 in damages. It doesn't happen that often. Sometimes when there's a lawsuit and the defendant just doesn't show up, the court will award the $150,000 award. But if you don't register until after the infringement, and this happens all the time, people come in to see me and say, well, my song is on this video in this movie, or my photograph is on this website, and have you registered the copyright? The answer is no. Then you are only entitled to your actual damages, which sometimes are, negligible. I mean, if you catch the infringement really early on, if you're playing, if you're playing in Saratoga and some other folk singer starts playing your songs and is taking credit for it, what exactly are your actual damages? I mean, you might be royally PO'd, but it's, you're going to take their $50 gig money from last Thursday, as damages? I don't think so. So, I mean, the rule of thumb that I tell people is if you've got works that are going out into the world, if you're posting stuff on the internet, if you've made a recording and you've got it up on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, if you're putting stuff up on Spotify through whoever, it's a good idea to just register the copyright. So the website is copyright.gov. You can create an account and do everything online, including sending them MP3s of your music.